Hey everybody, and welcome to the first ever Motivating Moments podcast. I am Pastor Steve Evans, the creator and the host of Motivating Moments podcast. Hey, I am so excited about taking this journey with you, and I trust it's going to be a blessing as we discover and grow together. Listen, I believe God has great things in store for your life if you'll simply commit yourself to digging and finding out what that direction is and pursuing His will for you. This is going to be a great time together. I trust that you're encouraged. Feel free to drop a comment in here anywhere along the way. If you would please like and subscribe, leave us a rating. We would love that. It helps us so much get this message of encouragement out. God bless you. And without any further ado, let's jump into episode 1, Win the Day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first ever Motivating Moments podcast, the show where we're going to encourage you with ways to leverage everyday opportunities so that you will arrive at a destination that will astound you when you look back over your life. My name is Pastor Steve Evans, and I will be your host for these podcasts. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I currently serve as the lead pastor of Faith Assembly Church in Greenville, North Carolina. And I am married to my amazing, beautiful wife, Lisa, of 28 years now. Together, we share a couple of adult daughters. And I'm not saying that life is not without its challenges, but I am saying that life is good. And we believe that your life can be good, that is the life you are intended to have. And we want to help you achieve that and keep you motivated and pour into you and encourage you. Listen, I mentioned earlier that Lisa and I serve in local church leadership. And during that time, we've encountered so many incredible people with amazing gifts and talents, people with great charisma and the ability to influence people. And we believe that in the grand scheme of things, it's just, where God uniquely has us planted for this season. And with that purpose, He has also gifted us, we believe, with the ability to be able to see these things in people and call them out of people. And, that scenario, that's great, but that presents so oftentimes a great conflict and a challenge. And that challenge, the one common denominator that we have found through the years is that people do often possess great gifts and talents, but what people lack oftentimes is the encouragement, that voice that's calling to them to step out into new things, or the voice that aids them in finding practical tools that'll help them put together a game plan that will eventually lead to huge, huge victories in their lives. Hence, Motivating Moments was born. I want to be that voice in your life. I want to be one of the voices in your life that is adding encouragement to and equipping you with the tools to be successful and remain in steady motion towards realizing the full potential of your life. Listen, it's my prayer that through the course of these episodes, you hear something that resonates in your heart and your mind, just a single nugget, if just that, just a single nugget that will fuel your forward momentum and stir you with the confidence that you need to realize that, you probably can do more than you thought possible at some previous points in your life. So, enough about me, enough about the purpose of the show. Let's talk about you. Let's get some fuel for that desire in your heart, for things to change, for goals to be achieved, and for victories to be won. Hey, you know what? Let's get you motivated. So, let me tell you first what I believe about you. And what I believe about you most is this, that it doesn't matter what I believe about you as much as it matters what you believe about you. If you don't believe enough about yourself, that there is a great plan for your life, that there is a wonderful destiny that God has designed for you, I can't wish enough for you. I can't encourage enough for you. I can't pray enough for you. You have to believe that you are fearfully, wonderfully made with a purpose and a design, and that there is a great plan for your life. And then you have to act accordingly. But back to what I think about you, because I do want to share that. I do believe that if you aren't considering a goal or living with a desire for something that just seems a little out of reach, just a little beyond your skill set, a little beyond your resources, a little beyond your talent level, then you're not dreaming big enough. And there's a good chance that you're not striving to achieve the maximum potential for your life. Here's my guess about our listening audience. Today's episode is titled Win the Day. I wanted to start with this thought because I shared it some weeks ago with our congregation at Faith Assembly Church, and it really seemed to resonate with a lot of people. And I believe it'll resonate with our listeners as well. And I'm not going to share the whole message in full. I will put links to that message in the show notes here. Maybe you can go back and take a listen to it. But month one, here we are. We're just getting started in 2024. It's a brand new year. Yes, we are in the second month, but month one of the new year is behind us. Now, I'd be willing to guess that at this point in the year already, that our perspective on a few things have begun to change over the past couple of weeks, or maybe even in the last few days as we've come into this second month. And here's why I say that. I say that because in December, we looked at January with hopeful optimism, upon which it just seemed like this starting block or this trigger point upon which all of the goals of the coming year hinged. And now it's February, and in February already, there are many of us, myself included, I'm not counting me out, I'm talking to me too, who are taking a rearward glance at January, and we're doing so with some sense of disappointment. Maybe we weren't as faithful to our resolutions as we had purposed to be. Maybe we didn't meet the goals that we had set out to meet. Maybe we haven't been as disciplined in our habits as we would have liked to have been. I want to offer to you a couple of things. I want to offer some encouragement, and I want to offer a caution. I encourage you because in order for any of us to get better, it is required that we engage in continual assessment of our lives. It's a requirement. We can't get around that. We can't just blindly go through life, pay no attention to what's going on in us, in our thoughts, in our hearts, in our spirits, in the environment around us. We just can't go through life mindless and expect to achieve, expect to improve. We have to continually assess. We do have to look back and be honest with ourselves about where we had the hits, where we had the misses. And if we're not seeing the desired outcome, sometimes we've got to assess the steps that we've taken that have got us the outcomes that we've got. And the reason we do that is because insanity has been defined as continuing to do the same thing, but expecting a different result. And we do sometimes have to face uncomfortable facts. Don't get me wrong. There will be times that you and I will face uncomfortable facts as we take an honest assessment of our lives, of our routines, of our disciplines. And sometimes we face those uncomfortable facts. Sometimes we may find that we've been lazy. If it's a fact, it's a fact. Deal with it. The fact may be that we've just been lax and undisciplined. If that's a fact, we need to deal with it. The fact may be that I don't have certain things simply because there was no huge easy button for me to push, and therefore I just didn't invest the effort. I didn't have the real passion that I thought I had. Maybe then it's just a reassessment of our goals to go, you know what, maybe I'm not as passionate about that as I thought I was. So let's move on to what's next. But the caution that I have in this is, for you and I, many times in the course of assessment, we can pass completely beyond honesty and we can go straight into harshness. And in that harsh critique of ourselves, we estimate ourselves as incompetent, and therefore incapable of ever reaching our goals. And therefore, we resolve just to simply flounder for, in some places, in the same places actually, for seasons at a time, year over year, with little to no progress at all. And sometimes the magnitude of our failure is considered against the scope of our goals, and that equals a complete failure in our minds. Now, what I mean by that is that, we feel like because we've missed the mark in one area or we haven't quite fully developed in another, then we have just completely trashed our potential to ever reach our goals. And that just absolutely isn't the same. Now, what I'm talking about today, it's applicable if it's a spiritual discipline. If you had markers for spiritual growth that you wanted to see in your life this year, and you had gathered some disciplines around that to help you reach that goal, but you've been a little lax in your discipline, so you're not quite there yet. Sometimes if we're not good enough in the discipline and we just seem to falter a little bit, we will become completely dismissive of the goal and give up on it and just say, you know what, I can't make that. This is true in your personal finance. Maybe you started off January 1, you were going to do better, you were going to be more responsible, you drafted a budget, but here we are, and your January budget's busted, and you don't know what to do about it. So, you've just been freewheeling and digging deeper holes for yourself than you had ever had before. And it's just really a real self-defeating cycle. Spirituality, personal finance, physical fitness, your diet, whatever the case may be, this principle is applicable across the board. And I want to extend this illustration just a little bit of coming into a new year and, maybe help bring some clarity around what I'm trying to say. If we weren't all wins in January, so in our mind somewhere that equates that all of our goals for the year are probably out. Okay, here we are. We've just ended 1 month of 12. And maybe we've said, you know what, I'll get back to that some other time. That, I didn't do well with that, and I'm defeated, I'm discouraged, and I'm just not gonna bother with that now. The funny thing is that we've completed 1 month out of 12 with the expectation that just because we said go at the appointed time, we're instantly gonna have every goal that we had set out to attain in the year perfected by the end of month 1. Now, never mind that there are 11 months left ahead of us in the year, counting the present month. Now, I'm about to go super, super nerdy. I know. And so I know this is bad. This is bad. This will do nothing for being the kickoff to this podcast. But I'm going to go super nerdy here for just a minute. So don't check out on me yet, because the good part is just ahead. So I want you to just think about this, because nothing excites me more, and I'll probably lose listeners over this just because I said it. But nothing excites me more than a good spreadsheet. I mean, I love to crack open a good fresh spreadsheet and figure out some dynamics, and just really get the metrics hammered out. But I was thinking about this, and I thought about this 1 month being complete. That 1 month is 8.3% of the time that you had allotted for yourself to reach your goals. Because you said in 2024, I want to. Why then have you placed the expectation on yourself that you're going to have all those goals met and perfected in 8.3% of the time that you allotted yourself to complete that goal? That means, listen to me, that means that we have almost 92% of the year left. Now, maybe that brought some relief to you, but hang on just a second, because I'm about to give you more. Of that 92% that's left, out of the whole year that you gave yourself to complete your goals, to meet those health goals, to meet those financial goals, to meet those career goals, to meet those personal development goals, of the entire year that you gave yourself to meet those goals, today represents just a little over 0.25% of that whole year. So I want you just to think about that and understand that you don't have to win the war today, but you have to win today's battle in order to win the war. Now, let me encourage you quickly here to say that you may not win every day. You may not win. There may be some days that you walk away from and you assess the day and you say, well, I could have done this better. I should have done that. And maybe I shouldn't have done this thing over here. But if you will consistently purpose to get up every single day, sometimes we're so overwhelmed with the overarching goal that we can't see what needs to be done today. Sometimes the task seems so far removed from who we are and our current experiences that we can't figure out how in the world. It just seems insurmountable. But you can do this because all you've got to do is ask the question, if there's a years-long goal that I want to achieve, what do I need to have achieved in the first 6 months? If this is my first 6 months goal, what do I need to have achieved in the first 2 quarters? Each one. Set a deadline, quarter 1, quarter 2. If I've got quarter 1 goals, then what do I need to achieve monthly? If I'm going to achieve my monthly goals, what do I need to do weekly? And if I'm going to achieve my weekly goals, what do I need to do to win the day? And if I'm going to win the day, what decisions do I need to make? Moment by moment by moment. Because friend, let me tell you this. Every action that you take, every decision that you make is a vote for or against the vision of your future that God has birthed in your heart. You will either vote for by your decisions, you will vote for by your disciplines, you will vote for by your actions, or you will vote against that desired and preferred end. You will vote for that goal or against that goal with your actions. And it's not what you did one time in 6 months, but it's what you showed up consistently to do day after day after day after day. I've heard Craig Groeschel and some others talk about this principle and say that we often overestimate what we can do in a day and underestimate what we can do in a year. And I'd like to expand on that for just a minute and say that I believe that we overestimate our day and what we're able to accomplish in that, and the fact that we expect that our success is going to be immediate, that we're going to decide that we are, so we will. I want to tell you something. Habits aren't born out of decision. Not a single decision, anyway. They are born out of a consistency to show up day after day, week after week, month over month, year over year, times over time, season after season, until it becomes a part of who we are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's eating habits, if it's spiritual disciplines, if it's personal enrichment goals, career goals. Here's the good part, as promised. You don't have to win the year in a moment. You don't have to win the war in a moment, but you do have to win the moments to win the war. You do have to win the moments to win the year. So I want you to win today. What you and I are responsible for today is just a small part of what will be achieved in our lives if we will be focused on this day. I want you to win today. I want you to win tomorrow. I want you to win the next day. I want you to win days in succession until you look back in review of your year, your life, and you realize that you have won. You have won not just incrementally, but you have won big as the result of a culmination of days that you set your heart and you set your mind and you set your passion to winning that day. And I want you to remember, you're never defeated until you quit trying. Keep winning the day. Don't give up in the middle of your goal, and you'll soon realize that you've made great strides towards your most fulfilled life. Listen, breakthrough is just around the corner. Be faithful, stay committed. Until then, good things are ahead. I'm Pastor Steve, praying for you and believing for great victories.